Sheffield United, Burnley, and Luton. The three teams that came up from the Championship are the three teams in the bottom three. Chelsea are in the bottom half of the season as well. They are in the 11th position. It's a position they wobbled around a lot last season, and now they're playing with it again. Guys, let's talk about the Manchester derby. It wasn't competitive at all. Ten Hag said the first half they stayed in and around. He said the second half they took their foot off the pedal. But even that first half that he spoke about, they had Onana to thank.
Listen, these days, when I listen to Eric Ten Hag's post-match interviews, I get confused because it looks like what everyone else saw on the game.
It's not what he saw.
From pitch side, he sees something else. And maybe because he's got the luxury of the pitch side, he sees something else. Because when he said that in that first half was toe-to-toe, it's I don't know. Listen, again, let me put the context to this. City have not been great ahead of this game. Yet, against United, they look like peak City. City only managed to get past Brighton in the game where, in the last 10 minutes, Brighton almost got another goal back to make it 2-2. They've not played with a lot of fluidity about them as we've known them to be. But against Man United, there was no stopping them. And I think all of that comes down to the coaching from Eric Ten Hag. Because when you're into your second season with a group of players that you know so well, most of whom you have handpicked, it's practically unacceptable to see the team play the way they play. And for me, I don't even want to go into the whole tactics. It's irrelevant because they were beaten anyhow. Physicality, tactically, passion-wise, fight, everything, they were beaten. So even analyzing the game and how they lost it tactically doesn't make sense. It wasn't even close, right? Now, after 2-0, United stopped fighting for everything. And that second goal came only 4 minutes into that second half. Every head was completely down. It didn't look like... we've seen other games where teams are leading 2-0 at Old Trafford and United are fighting for something because they know that the next goal is what is crucial. At 2-0, it didn't look like United were chasing anything. And friends, I've heard a more recent thing about Man United that everything happening outside the club or off the pitch is what is affecting what is on the pitch. I think that makes no sense. And I'll tell you why. What is happening off the pitch with the Glazers sale got to do with players turning up at training and a coach coaching them to tell them how to play and win the game on a match day? I mean, that's again because I don't know how the ownership situation should affect the performance of the team. It has nothing to do with it. And I'll tell you what's even worse. FC Barcelona last season when Xavi won La Liga, Barcelona were in financial ruins. Players were being owed monies. They were in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. They take a lot of money from the players in pay cuts. They were owing some of the players. He went on to win the league. They qualified in the Champions League. They played the brand of football that the coach had coached them to play. Do you know what is happening at Everton? Everton have got problems of their own. But I tell you what, when they step up onto the pitch, the players are playing like we are here to do our job. Yes, Juventus, in last November, all their directors resigned. And the club, they were down 10 points. But mathematically, putting those points together, Juve finished second. The simple reason is, for everything that happens with the hierarchy around the club, the playing body have got their conditions to go in and train and turn up on match days and play. When you watch Man United play football, they don't look like a team that have got a clue about what they want to do. It's okay to lose games. It's very okay to lose games. But do it honorably. But there's a way to lose. When you look at Chelsea play, you can quite clearly tell what the manager wants them to do. It's just not working because personnel. But when you watch Man United play, it's impossible now to blame personnel because you don't even know what the personnel are supposed to do that they are failing at doing. And that is where the major problem is. And I think Ten Hag maybe doesn't even have the answers to solving it. Daniel, for United fans watching right now, what's this? Just throw your arms in the air and give up? Or what? Is there redemption for Ten Hag?
It's
You're speechless.
You know why? Because last season, we saw very, very good coaching. Incredible coaching from Ten Hag. We saw it with our eyes. We saw how his substitution, even bringing on players who were inferior to the standard of Man United, will come on and change a game the way he wanted the game to be changed. Then you go into a transfer window and you do very poor business, in my opinion.
True.
But it is what you want. So back the manager, fine. And you come into this season. Look, Fent, I don't think there's a single player in the Man United team that understands what they are supposed to do on the pitch. Seriously speaking. Because when you look at the differences in approach, game by game, you see, I always say this thing, tactics may change, but philosophies don't change.
Yeah.
Okay? City may play a 3-back today, they may play a 5-back tomorrow, but the principle of keeping possession, fluidity in movements, it's always the same.
Yeah.
But with Man United, it's like every time the players come out onto the pitch, there's something completely different that they are doing. And it doesn't follow a pattern. They are very confused. So they are just there. Basically just there and existing and waiting for 90 minutes to be up so they can go back into the dressing room. And that, you see, nobody can convince anybody that is not down to coaching. It's not down to anything else. The Glazers don't pick the team. The Glazers don't buy the money. They just provide the cash for the money. What shocked me completely on Sunday was the halftime substitution bringing Mason Mount in. It is not about taking Amrabat off because he was on a yellow card. That was dangerous. But when you are taking a player like Amrabat, in the conditions that were happening in the first half, what we could see, the amount of possession Man City had, the way City could create just when they wanted to, when they felt like opening.
It was too easy.
It was too easy. If you want to bring in an attacker, wait, why are you even bringing on an attacker then? Because you are struggling to have a grip on the game. That's what was happening. Man, you didn't. When Man you had possession of the ball, City were telling them where to pass.
Yeah, City were dictating
the game. Where
even
Man
without
should
the
pass,
ball.
even without the ball. So you need to try and get a grip on the game before you can push and try and get an attacking onus on the game. But bringing Mason Mount on, look, let me just put it plain and simple. It was like somebody holding a console, playing FIFA, wanting extra attackers, somebody with pace, so that you can pass it. It was literally like we were playing FIFA 2023 because it had no tactical. There was no reasoning behind that substitution. Because when it happened, and I'll tell you the story. I was watching the game with my sister, and I told her exactly what was going to happen once that substitution was happening. And we sat there. And when the second goal was happening, we dictated it from when City passed from the back. How it was going to happen. I pointed out the space at the left-hand side that had been left on Grealish's side. What City were trying to do with what Man U had done at the point. Ball goes there. The ball is crossed. How can I sit in my house in Abokobi and predict what is going to happen? And the manager was on the pitch, and he can't see.
And to make it worse, when you've signed a player for 100 million in Anthony, when you've signed Mount, and the whole summer he said he was a complete midfielder, very important. In the biggest game of the season,
they're sitting on the bench.
The two of them are sitting on the bench.
160 million.
They make no impact. The owners right away look at you and be thinking, do you know exactly what you're doing, man?
Exactly. I mean, it's a fair point. And right now, Everton has us leads under pressure. And already the stories are flying around about potential replacement and how he could possibly
the sad thing for
get the sack.
He spent 400 million on almost an entire team.
He signed 9 players.
Substandard team. Who should come and use Mount and Anthony? If they sack him today.
Anyway. All right.